Righto, welcome to Captain Dorja's Armory. I'm Captain Dorja, and today we're going to be looking at a replay with the KV-1S. KV-1S is a great tank. I haven't had it that long. If you look at my tank, you can see my crew's only 90%. I don't have any rigs. I do have camouflage, but that's about it. My KV-1S is fully upgraded. I don't have any rigs because I just recently bought a T95 and I'm trying to save up enough credits for a T54, and that's 3.4 million credits before rigs or crew training or anything like that. So as you can see, I have a ways to go. But the KV-1S, that's what we're here to talk about. KV-1S is a great tank, and I'd never played it until just recently, and the reason why is because the old tech tree, I didn't think it made a lot of sense. When you had the old tech tree and the KV was just the KV, and it was tier 5, and then at tier 6 you had the KV3, and then the IS at tier 7. The KV-1S was in there as just an offshoot. It was an alternative route that you could take to get to the IS. Similar to now, prior to that, there used to be no KV2, no T150, and the KV3 right here, tier 7 heavy, used to be a tier 6 heavy. Now, the KV3 is a tier 7 heavy in the slow armored line on the route to the IS-4, and the KV-1S is the direct link from the KV-1 to the IS in the fast light armored heavy tank line leading to the IS-7. Now, I got past tier 6 in the Soviet heavy line before the reorganization of the tech tree. And I also played in beta before the tech tree was changed. So I'd never taken the KV-1S before, and the pure and simple reason for that is the KV-1S's stock grind looks horrible. You start out with this gun, which is completely inadequate on a tier 6 heavy. You upgrade to either this gun or this gun, which are both completely inadequate on a tier 6 heavy. But when you're fully upgraded, you get this gun, the 122mm D-Tech 2-Tech 5T, which is basically a cut-down version of the D25T on the IS. It essentially just has a slower rate of fire. Everything else about it is the same. You used to get that on the KV3 at tier 6 and on the KV-1S at tier 6. So the KV-1S was essentially the fast, fun version with a horrible, horrible grind. And the old tier 6 KV3 used to be the slower lumbering, not quite as enjoyable, but you didn't want to kill yourself as you tried to upgrade. So in beta and in release, I skipped the KV-1S. You can't do that anymore, and I'm okay with that because the KV-1S is really, really fun. And it's really, really fun because on a tier 6 heavy tank, that gun is insane. People drive around the corner and you murder them. And 2 of them in a platoon is deadly because you can coordinate reloads, you can volley fire. It's just absolutely insane. This thing, it is unstoppable. So, we're going to show a video of a match that I played earlier, platooned up with my friend Aaron Keller. War of the Tank screen name is Darth Yoda89, but we're going to call him Aaron. Aaron just got his KV-1S fully upgraded. We'd been playing them together while he was grinding on it, and he was getting frustrated because I was doing stuff like stealing all the kills. But not this time, because this time Aaron earns his first Brothers in Arms and makes a very important contribution to our team. So let's go take a look at the replay, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Right, so here we are in our 2 KV-1Ss on a match on Halluf. It's a standard, it's an encounter battle. Tier 7 match, only a few tier 7s, but with 2 KV-1Ss, that's really not an issue. It's really, if it were tier 8 heavy, we'd have to be a lot more careful, but with these guns, no problem. I skipped ahead some as we drive over up on top of the hill. I don't really like fighting from up here, because in my opinion most people do it wrong. But as it turned out, it was a good thing that me and Aaron came up here. At this point, there's not a lot of people have made it up here. Aaron is defending against the normal attack route, and I'm taking a look over to see if any people try to sneak into our base or anything like that. Give him a nice 122 millimeter surprise. Aaron gets a monstrous hit in on the enemy KV-1S and sets him on fire, and he is almost immediately out of the battle straight away. At this point, I'm trying to get Aaron to move over to the left, because in his current position, if there were artillery, by now he'd be dead. There's no artillery here, though. But it's still a good idea to stay where the M18 Hellcat is and where the Jumbo Sherman is moving to, because that way the enemy has to draw themselves farther up the slope, and they never get a shot at you, and you can fire at them. Now, I'm reasonably certain there's nothing over here. The enemy's so heavily concentrated on the normal attack route that I take a risk looking for a shot on that SU-152. I don't have a shot, so I start backing up. Even with no artillery, there are still plenty of tanks on their team that can be effective snipers, like their Tiger, Jagdpanther, the low armor of the KV-1S, even the 88mm L56 could give it problems. So I get into cover. It looks like the enemy's going to push up this hill. So I'm trying to get into a position where I can fire over the shoulder of the Hellcat and Aaron without hitting them. You can see our T-29 has already died, and our T-20 now thinks it's a good idea to go 1v4 where a T-29 couldn't survive. And I'm trolling it up in chat with him. I don't know what that guy was thinking, but he's dead, so it doesn't matter. Now we've got a heavy down in the river scouting, and a medium trying to push up into their base. And other than that, about half of our team is camping in the base, and the other half is clustered up here. It's a good thing there was no arty, or we would all have been just absolutely ripped apart. But there isn't any artillery, so we can afford to do this. Again, I don't like doing this. Normally I prefer to hold this area from A3 or A4. It's not as effective since the remodeling of the map, but it is still more effective, in my opinion, than fighting this sort of war of attrition and just getting smashed by artillery. But again, no arty in this match, and if my team is going to hold here, and I'm going to hold here, if my team's going to hold here, I should try and help them out in the location where they're fighting, not go back and try to do my own one-man Rambo defense. And this T-29 right here is absolutely screwed. He's driven up, he's completely exposed to twin 122s. His team is not following him up. The KV-1 came up and Aaron just hammered it. And you can see that T-29 only has the 76mm gun, so he's hardly doing any damage. The other T-29, he's not coming up at all. The KV-1 just isn't able to do effective damage. And now we get to the problem with KV-1S's poor gun depression. I can't hit that KV-1 from right there because of the lump on the ground that Aaron's actually parked on. It's enough that I can't depress my gun to hit. But I don't need to, because Aaron puts a second shot into the KV-1 and he's destroyed. But we've lost our T-150. Right, so this corner is now being held by me and Aaron and a T-3485. I put the tracking shot onto that T-29. He uses a repair kit and gets out, but not after losing more than half of his health to one shot from Aaron and one shot from our T-3485. If he'd stayed right here, I would have put a shot through his turret cheeks, but he rotated his turret and eventually backs up. Again, the KV-1S gun depression bites me here, but I can still get it down low enough to shoot through his hull. T-29, now on 149 health. He's screwed. The SU-152 that we just saw trying to flank us has been killed by our Panther, and Aaron just took a friendly fire hit from our Jagdpanther. Luckily, all it did was damage his tracks, and the Jagdpanther apologizes. So I come over here to proximity detect. If that T-29 had been alone, I probably would have finished him off, but he's not. So I'm just proximity detecting. If you get within 50 meters of the enemy, whether you have a line of sight on them or not, they are detected. If I hang around for too long, really, I got really lucky to bounce the T-29 shot, but the T-1 Heavy I wasn't really worried about. And at the angle I was there, the worst the Tiger could have done was blow off my tracks. So, a bit risky, but it turned out okay. Now, I'm looking at the mini-map at this point, and there is a heavy tank up on our plateau in our base. And, well, at this point, we're not sure if we should just hold our corner or go back and help. And I decide that we're going to have faith in our teammates and hold the corner. And I told them in chat right there, you guys keep the base secure, keep us from getting shot from behind. We'll lock down this corner. Now, just because they've agreed to keep the base secure doesn't mean I'm not going to help out too if I can. So while there's nothing to our front for me to fire at, I'm looking over my shoulder, looking to see if I have shots on anyone attacking the base. Because if they take out the guys up in our base, me and Aaron can hold this corner all we want. We lose. So never miss a chance to help a friend in need. But I don't have any shots, and with this gun at that range, I probably wouldn't hit anything anyway. So I go back to watching my corner, and the enemy is starting to get more ballsy. The Jumbo Sherman's pushing up, and I was worried about this Jumbo Sherman because earlier, in a similar type of situation, me and Aaron had both succumbed to the power of the Jumbo. We couldn't damage his turret, he was hauled down, we didn't have cover, and it ended badly. Kinda like it just ended badly for that T-1 Heavy. There we go. Now we're down to a Jumbo Sherman at full health and a T-29 with 150. So it's looking pretty good for us on the corner, but the enemy is capping. I'm not worried about it. I'm pretty sure it's just the Tiger, and in encounter battles it takes a dog's age to cap. So I'm going to focus on this Jumbo Sherman and worry about the cap later. I try to shoot his commander's cupola, but even from 46 meters away, the KV-1S just isn't accurate enough, and I miss completely. He's firing some at Aaron. He's bounced him. Right, now I see the Jumbo retreating, and I realize it's our chance to go for it. I'm telling Aaron, go, 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 go. I get stuck on the wreck a little bit, but push my way through. Chase down this Jumbo Sherman, and he gives me his side armor. He's worried about our people pushing down out from our base, so I make him pay for that worry, and I hit him for 382 damage. That was a good hit right there. And he's going to reload, but I don't care. He's not going to kill me in one shot. I will kill him with my next shot, so I stop to reload, and he drives away, and I decide to take the T-29 instead. Now, I updated my client. It's using the test client for some reason to play replays, and I can't fix it, which is why we're getting some floating tank models like this T-29 who is hovering, and you may have noticed some of the tanks on the ridge were also hovering after they were killed. Now, Aaron's got unstuck from the wrecks, and in his fervor to get down into the fight, he just ran into me pretty hard, but I don't care. We're going to win this easy. I put the last 1 damage onto the T-29, and me and Aaron move in on this Tiger. That Tiger's got good cover from our friendlies in the base, but unfortunately, 2 KV-1Ss from behind. And there's one. And there we have a Tiger who is screwed. 3 kills for Aaron, 2 kills for me, and a Jagdpanzer 4 left in the base. That's it. He's one-shotable, and if not, I'll shoot and ram. So, boom, and there it is. Good match, good win, and brothers in arms. That was a fun match on Halluf, and also that was Aaron's first Brothers in Arms medal, so that was a pretty good match. Yeah, so that was our KV-1S game. Brothers in Arms for both of us. First Brothers in Arms for Aaron. It was a good match, and it was a fun match, and it was a fun match for a couple of reasons. I don't really enjoy the war of attrition on that corner, but it's usually a necessary evil. There's no point in trying to be a one-man defense somewhere else after your team's already been rolled over. just because you prefer that position. If everybody else is all up there together, you might as well combine your firepower. But Brothers in Arms, just in case anyone here is not familiar with it, it's a pretty simple award. Each platoon member must destroy at least 3 enemy vehicles and survive. So if either one of us had died, there would have been no Brothers in Arms. If I hadn't kill stolen the T-29 at 1 HP, no Brothers in Arms. I wasn't thinking about that at the time, but it worked out nice. And everybody in the platoon gets the award. So now that match, aside from being fun for, killing lots of people and winning, it was fun for a couple other reasons. It was nice to have a team that I could count on to do reasonably well, and there were some derps on it. We had a Jagdpanther accidentally shoot Aaron. Luckily, all it did was damage his tracks. I think Aaron was at about half health. That 120 or that 105 on the Jagdpanther could have killed him, but no harm, no foul. And also, when it got down to just me and Aaron on that hill, and our 3601 driver was, telling us to be careful and all that, I said to him, hey, you guys take care of the base and we got this. We were sitting there thinking, well, man, if these guys can't take care of the base, we're so screwed. But as you could see in that match, our team was up to the task. They handled their half of the deal, and we handled our half of the deal. And it was nice to be able to rely on them. There were 2 or 3 times in that match where I was sitting there just thinking to myself, I'm going to have to rely on this team again, and you know how that can be. A lot of the times in World of Tanks, if you can't look out for yourself, no one else will either. But I'm glad to say this was not one of those teams. They looked out for themselves well, and we looked out for ourselves well, with notably few exceptions. So that was a good match, and it was a good result, and it's a good tank. I think once I get my T-54 hooked up and ready to roll, I'm going to put rigs on this thing, because I like it. I bought it exclusively to play in platoons with Aaron, but I like it enough that I'm definitely going to keep it. And this thing, with a large caliber tank gun rammer, an enhanced gun laying drive, and improved ventilation, is going to be outrageous, because its 2 problems are reload time and aiming time, and the gun laying drive will reduce the aiming time, the gun rammer will reduce the reloading time, and the improved ventilation will lower all of those things. Plus, it's going to be nice when I get a 100% crew and I can start having things like repair or 6th Sense or what have you. So KV-1S is a great, great tank. I'm really glad I went back and bought one. I'm actually really glad they changed the tech tree to make it less of an irrelevant tank. I used to regard it as essentially pointless, and now it is really awesome. So yeah, KV-1S, good thing, good machine, fun to platoon with people, great tank. And that was Captain Dorja with Captain Dorja's Armory. And just remember, you can never have enough big guns.